Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Lakeville Area School Board of Education Candidate Forum, brought to you by the Lakeville Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Swanson.
Good evening. Bill, thanks for having us tonight, and thank you for the Chamber for providing this opportunity for us. My name is Matt Swanson. My wife and I have lived in Lakeville for roughly 20 years now. We have 4 kids that are currently in elementary school and middle school. So we are highly invested in the school system, and we also use our fair share of the resources that the schools provide. I am an attorney by trade. I've been practicing for 15 years, with my primary area of practice is representing corporate boards. So I work and provide strategic decision-making, corporate governance, and policy implementation for our clients, helping them to make decisions of all sorts, and even representing them in conflicts that arise in litigation. So part of my job is handling dispute resolution on almost a daily basis. That includes working with different views, trying to find a way forward, taking the emotion out of the decision, so we can push forward and make an effective resolution that works for all parties. I'm running for the school board to utilize these skills in service of the community. My goals are to ensure that all of the students in our schools are provided with a high-quality education, that our district finances are not secret to the taxpaying public, and that funds are responsibly utilized for the purpose of improving the academic success of our students, and that we engage our students' parents as active participants in the education process to maximize our students' potential. Thank you.
What do you view as the school board's role in the relationship with the Lakeville business community?
The Lakeville business community is obviously a very important resource for our schools, especially when we have a limited budget and the restraints that go along with that. Any assistance and resources that we can receive from our local businesses will serve to enrich the education of our students. As far as our role, I mean, individually, as board members, we would be part of the Chamber of Commerce and could attend any meetings or engage with the business members. From the board itself, though, our school board's role is one of policy governance. And so we're limited as far as what we do individually. As a board, though, we set the policy of the school, and then through implementation of the administration, that policy goes out. So for the board engagement in business, if we make it a priority on the board side, a policy priority that we pass, and then follow up and make sure that the administration is implementing it and following through with that, then we can more actively utilize business resources and those relationships that are available to us in our community, as it is vital to the school's success. Thank you. I've lived in Lakeville for 20 years. I've built 2 homes here in Lakeville. Most recent home was with Country Joe, so a local builder. I send my kids to Lakeville schools, and we spend way too much money at the Lakeville Target. So yeah, that's how I engage on a personal side with the local business community. From a professional side, I am an attorney. I do represent several clients that are in the Lakeville area, and we definitely appreciate that Lakeville has established a thriving local economy with many businesses that are coming here, in large part due to the success of our schools. As I noted before, as a board member, we automatically become members of the chamber, which I do intend to utilize that opportunity to foster relationships with local businesses in order to take advantage of any support that may be available to our talented students that will be graduating from our schools and looking for employment. I mean, ideally, we're going to be able to create a system where the students want to come back and live in Lakeville and make this their home for years to come by having a healthy school that is academically competitive with all other schools in the state and achieving what it has in the past. We can bring that back there. We will have that community and for years to come. Thank you. So there are several realities we have to deal with when analyzing this issue of the tax burden on the residents. First, we have approximately 60% of our population that have no students in school, no students in public school, and yet they are still paying their taxes and supporting our schools. So we have that group of taxpayers and voters that we have to answer to as well. And then there's the other fact that 75% or roughly 75% of the school's funding comes from the state. And the state, unfortunately, the legislature only provided this last year a 2.1% increase on the per pupil funding, which, if anybody knows, does not keep up with inflation. So that creates additional budget issues for the school district. I mean, ultimately, when we're talking about passing levies, it really needs to be something where we're building trust with the people in the community. I mean, everyone who's up here has talked about, accountability for the budget or transparency. I mean, it's shocking to me that no one seems comfortable with the way we're spending money. There doesn't seem to be a lot of transparency. And if we can open up the books, because it is all taxpayer money, we let the public know what the money is being spent on, ensure that it's being spent wisely, that we're being good stewards of the taxpayers' money, then we're building trust. And then when we have a levy or we need to pass a levy in order to fund something, the taxpayers aren't questioning whether we're wasting their money, and we'd have their confidence in their vote. Thank you.
Mr. Swanson.
I might make myself sound really old, but somehow we managed without cell phones in the classroom, and I don't really see a great argument for why a student needs a cell phone in the classroom. I believe there is a proposed policy for our schools where the students wouldn't be allowed to have the cell phone from bell to bell. They could access it from their locker during passing time or at lunchtime. I'm totally fine with that, but I would absolutely be in favor of a policy where cell phones are not allowed in the classroom. If there's an emergency, I mean, we still have landlines at the school, right? I mean, parents can contact the office, and the office can get hold of the teacher. So yeah, I don't see what the problem would be with banning cell phones in the classroom. Thank you. I didn't realize before looking into this that the state actually requires that all school districts have a plan for the successful student transition to post-secondary education and employment. So this is already in the works. So we're stepping into this, at an advantage. It's not like we're recreating the system here. There is the 2024 to 2025 program of studies that's been produced by our school district, which is very informative, and it does provide different opportunities for our students. It's hard for me to sit here right now and judge and say what could be improved, because I don't really know how successful those programs are, because I'm not on the school board and don't have any results from those programs. However, I am encouraged by the Career Experiences for Credits program and the Career Explorations program right now, which I believe is only offered at one of our middle schools for the 8th graders. It'd be great to see that expanded to all of our middle schools. I know I have an 8th grader, and so it'd be great if he gets some exposure to that. But in addition, I just jump back to something that Brett said. For career readiness, there is the simple thing of building a strong work ethic and a resiliency in our students just through a rigorous education. Because as anybody knows, any employer knows, if you have somebody that's a worker that's hardworking and willing to step up to a challenge regardless of what their degree is or the credentials or certifications that they have, that's going to be a successful employee.
What role and responsibility do you believe the school district has in addressing student mental health?
There is a spectrum of what mental health means, mental illness means. And I do want to note that we have to be careful as a school district to not overstep into an area that we weren't meant to be in. For those cases that might be a little bit more on the extreme side, schools aren't equipped, I think we would all agree, aren't equipped to handle every mental health illness, and nor should we try to. Additionally, we need to be careful that we're not stepping into an area that should be under the purview and control of parents. And so, I would advocate that whenever there is an issue that we, again, collaborate with the parents, bring them into the situation, let them know what's going on. And if it's an issue that the school is just not equipped to handle with the parents, that's something that maybe the parents have to handle in another setting. And we don't have the budget as a school to be both a mental health facility and a school educating our students. While I agree there are certain things we can do on maybe the lighter side of the scale, I don't think we're equipped, and nor should we be reaching over into the more extreme side. Thank you.
Mr. Swanson.
Yeah, I am asking you to vote for Matt Swanson, vote for me for a school board, because the stakes are high. With the recent MCA test results, we see that 58.3% of students tested at their grade level in math, 61.2% tested at their grade level in reading, and 42.2% tested at their grade level in science. This is just simply not acceptable for the Lakeville School District, and we can do better. We need to have a candidate that is going to put academics first. That is your priority. We're going to make sure that we are accountable for the spending of the budget, so it goes back towards that first priority of putting academics first. If we're spending our money on things that are not improving student success, we need to be held accountable for that. And then finally, we need a candidate that's going to collaborate with the parents, bring the parents into the teaching process as a resource for our schools, because that's where the success is going to happen. I am that candidate. I have the experience working with boards, advising boards, and I can bring that to the table here. Vote Matt Swanson. Thanks.